Hello everybody, my name is Peter and welcome to 8 Bits in the Basement. So you'll see here in front of me I have once more my Radio Shack TRS-80 Color Computer 2 in front of me. Now it's been quite some time since I made a video on this particular system, but I saw a video recently on YouTube um, that was made by Cyberhug Technologies. And Cyberhug Technologies, he was inspired by the Nostalgia Nerd because apparently, back in 1985, there was a book by Usborne Publishing that came out for kids called Experiments with Your Computer. Now, the Nostalgia Nerd, a number of years back, he made a video on this book doing some of the experiments in it dealing with sensors. And Cyberhug Technologies saw it quite recently and it inspired him to make a video. And I saw Cyberhug Technologies video and was quite impressed, I'll tell you, with what was being done. Now, the videos they made were dealing with the Commodore 64, but the Osborne book also covered some other computers like the VIC-20, the BBC Micro, and also the Color Computer 2, well, more so TRS-80, 32K versions and upwards. So I said what I'd do was I'd try some of these experiments using one of these little guys here, which is an LDR, or light dependent resistor. I can get the little guy to focus. There we go. And that can be connected to the back of any one of these computers that has an analog input, and various experiments can be done. So there are two experiments listed in that book, and I tapped them in, I made up the little cable, and I tried them out. And take a look and see. So here I am back. I'm after hooking up my Coco, and I've plugged in the cable that I made with the light sensor at one end and the connector at the other end, so that it could be plugged into the Coco here. And I'm running the first of the two programs that are given in the experiments for your computer book that we were talking about. So the first one is fairly self-explanatory. What it does is it shows you the light level in the room, and it goes from 0 to 100%, 0 being dark and 100% being bright. So at the moment we're at 46%. Now I've got three light sources really coming to this room. I've got a light bulb here behind me, I've got this lamp here on the desk, and the light in the other room is also turned on. So we're at 46% at the moment. If I turn out the light here, you'll see that we go down to 30%. If I turn it back on, we should go back up to 40%. Or 46 or whatever it was. There we go. We're at 44% there. And depending on which lights I turn off, or depending on if this is in shadow, which it is at the moment, my shadow is cast on it. If I move out of the way, you'll see that the light here behind me is bringing it right back up to 100%. So there you can see that it obviously works. The more light there is, the higher the percentage, less light there is, the lower the percent. Now the second experiment that they give us in the book is pretty much the same as the first one, only instead of having numbers run down the screen, what they're doing is we're displaying a graph on screen that will show us the level of light. So lower the level of light, the graph will dip, and the higher, it'll go higher. So if I run it here, you'll see we've pretty much got our time going across the bottom, and as I cover this sensor, and I uncover it, you'll see that light level is going up and down pretty much. Okay, so the Osborne book there only deals with two experiments using light sensors. And beyond that, you're encouraged to try and push the envelope to find your own little projects to do. So the book is initially intended for a child, and I'm not a child anymore, but back in 1985 I was. So I was wondering what my 10-year-old self would have done if all this stuff was made available to me back then. So I thought back, and I remember that I used to love sci-fi shows on TV, and I really liked the idea of somebody entering a room and a computer just saying, "Ah, Professor, you're home." You know, something like that. So I'm sure that's what I would have been trying to do. So I decided, well, I tried to do that, but I very quickly realized that I could not get the Coco to talk. Now, not because the Coco is incapable of speech or anything, but because my programming skills just aren't what they should be to do that kind of thing. So I decided I would make some kind of crude burglar alarm. So just take a look and you'll see you'll see what I came up with. Okay, so this is my little burglar alarm program that I was speaking to you about. Now my programming skills are terribly, terribly bad. And this is kind of pulling what little I know of BASIC and looking through the Color Basic manual as well to try and come up with this guy. But what's going on here, if I can explain it a bit. Now, so I had really intended to explain this program that I had written really well and concisely, but it was beyond my ability to do it. So, suffice to say, the program I had written would run as soon as I launched it, because there would be light in the room. So I wrote a little program at the very beginning, just to give me time to arm the alarm. Right, so let's see if this burglar alarm works. What I'm going to do is I'll type run. I'll turn out this light and also the light here behind me, and on the way back I'll hit enter. I'll go in here and I'll close this door behind me, and all going as it should. When I open that door again, the burglar alarm should go off. Here we go. Okay, so I'm coming to rob you. Oh my god! Isn't that amazing? Now, so there's an example of one of the things you can do with a light sensor. Here we are. Now, I would have much preferred, to be honest, to have it say hello to me when I walk into the room. But there was no way I could think of doing that. So, well, because my programming skills just aren't good enough. Now, so there you go, that's my burglar alarm. I don't think it'll be any kind of success in home security, but it is what it is. However, it did occur to me afterwards that there would be a very simple way of making the Coco talk, because the Coco has within it a relay to control the tape recorder. So if I had one of those old tape recorders that the Coco could make to play and stop as it was loading programs, you could actually write that program to turn off the tape recorder while the room was dark, and then to turn it on or to start it playing when the room was bright. And you could just record your own voice saying welcome home or whatever you wanted, and when you opened the door, the tape would start playing and it would welcome you home. So that is a way you could do that kind of thing. So there are quite a few possibilities of what you could do with this thing. So then it occurred to me that the light sensor is connected to a joystick port. So I wondered, could a little video game character be controlled using light? So that was my next experiment. Now, so here's the thing. I decided to try and do this whole turning myself into a joystick thing with the light sensor, because it should work in pretty much the same way as a joystick does. So when light is spilt on top of this sensor here, it should send, as it's connected up to the joystick in such a way that it should send whatever character is on the screen that you're controlling to the left hand side of the screen. And when my shadow covers it, he should go to the right hand side of the screen. Now, so the way I've set this up is I've got my sensor here the way it was before, and I've set this lamp here behind me to give a good strong bright light near to the sensor here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn out all the lights in the room apart from this one, and I'm going to position myself in such a way that just kind of the shadow of my shoulder is going to be falling on the sensor. So when I'm kind of moving to my right, my shadow is covering it and should send a little guy on screen to the right. And when I move to my left, my shadow will move over and let some light from this lamp fall on the sensor, and should send a little guy running in the opposite direction to the left. So we'll see how well it works. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see how well it works. And yeah, we'll start. I'll turn out the light here, I'll turn on the lamp here, and we see what happens. So here we go, one player game. There he is, he ain't running. He ain't doing nothing. Oh, there we go. Okay, so when I move that way, he goes that way. There we go. Oh, yeah, and I move to the right, go to the right. Don't die. Go to the left. Ah, no, okay, hang on, we start again. Okay, so we go the other way. Excellent. Now I go back here, run that way. Okay, and I can go to the right. There we go, and I can go to the left. Excellent. And again to the right, get him. No, okay, he got me. If I could fly, if I had an integrated fire button. Okay, here we go. We're going to get someone this time. We'll fly a little bit. We'll see if we can get someone. You run to the right there. Once I appear. Yay, we got one. And I got the egg. Excellent. Let's restart. Okay, here we go again. I really think this could catch on as a way to play video games. This is fantastic. Look at me running here. And now I'm going back the other way, although I can't really fly or anything. But that's okay. Who needs to fly? I am in control of my jouster. Look at this. Look at it. Oh no, he got me as well. If I could flap, I'd be in business. Okay, here we go. Hang on. He's going to run to the left. Maybe I can hold him in the center a little bit. Oh, I can. Look at this control. Run. We try again. Oh, we're up the very top now. I'm going to go this way and then I'm going to try and double back to the right. So we go to the left and then we double back to the right really quick. No, I couldn't fly. Yay, I got one. You get him. I got two. I get him. Okay, I'm never going to get that egg, so the damn thing's going to hatch. Look at that, I got 2,500 points. Man, this is unbelievable. This could definitely, I think this is the way to go. I know, fucking Paradecto. This is like that Xbox 360 thing, isn't it? It's like, I pretty much, and if this had came out, if they had the foresight to make a controller thing like this back in the day, I tell you, they would have ruled. Tandy would have ruled. It would have been woo. And everybody, I know I'd be buying this controller, I know that. I'd probably be bringing it back the very next day, but here you go, look at this. Look at this control. Well, up until I die anyway. But I've got 2,300 points here. I mean, this is top-notch gaming, man. It's top-notch gaming. You know, I mean, you don't need to spend thousands of quid on VR. All you need is a color computer and one of these things. That's all you need. Yeah, so there you go. I'm very impressed with that. I'm well chuffed. I think that's excellent. I think that is excellent. Okay, so having looked at that and seen me controlling the little guy in buzzard bait there with one of these, a little light dependent resistor, you're probably wondering how can that actually work. Well, the Coco computer, its joysticks are made up of these guys here, potentometers. And the way they work is they take in a voltage and they give back out a voltage. And depending on what way you turn the potentiometer there, it'll give out either more of a voltage or less of a voltage. And the Coco computer looks at the voltage given out, and across the x-axis, which I was using in buzzard bait there, for example, if it's given out a low voltage, it'll send the little guy running to the left. And if it's given out a high voltage, it'll send the little guy running to the right. Now, this guy works in exactly the same manner, in that when light falls on it, it sends out a low voltage, and when there's no light, it sends out a high voltage. So it is, in essence, a kind of a potentiometer. Now, looking at the back of the Coco computer itself, on the joystick port, you've got an input like this, and it's got 6 little holes in it that'll take 6 pins. But the only pins we're interested in for this particular thing are pins 1, pins 3, and pins 5. So pin 1 controls the input for position across the x-axis. Pin 3 is ground, and pin 5 is our 5 volt DC. And the way one of these pots is connected is it's got its 3 prongs like this here, and then it's got the knob here on the front. And the way we connect it up is this guy here goes to pin 3, which is our ground. This guy here goes to pin 1, which is our position on the x-axis. And this guy here goes to 5 volt. And that's the way that would be connected up inside of a Coco joystick. Now with this guy here, we've only got 2 prongs on it. So the way it's connected up is like they described in the Usborne book there. As we only have 2, we connect 1 prong, either or, it doesn't matter which, to pin 1, which is our position on the x-axis, and the other prong to pin 3, which is our ground. So that's the way that's connected. Now, in order to have a 5 volt reference, we want to connect a 100 kilo ohm resistor between pins 5 and 1. And that is the reason why this guy can work just like a joystick. So that's it for today. That's the end of my video. I'd just like once more to say thank you to Cyberhug Technologies for making the video that he made, because I was unaware of this whole sensor with computers thing, really, to be honest with you. So it's great that he opened my eyes to that. One other thing, if you're into retro computing in general or into the Coco computer, you could do worse than check out Coco Talk Live, which is a show that's on at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday and is streamed on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Other than that, listen guys, if you enjoyed the video, give us an old thumbs up. If you didn't, you know the drill, thumbs down. Leave a comment. I always try and answer any comments I can. And if you'd like to see more of this kind of thing, click on the subscribe button. So look, I leave you at that. Take care of yourselves. Look after any people that are close and dear to you. And we'll talk to you the next time. See you again. Bye bye.